Good morning, everybody. Hey, this is the Momentum Show, the show to get you guys rolling. Yep, that's what we do here in the lab. Today, we're ripping the lid off the mana culture. We sure are, guys, and we're going to explore if luxury travel can actually save the planet. Yes, you heard me say it correct. Can luxury travel actually save the planet? What do you think, man? Plus, why tiny habits might just be the secret weapon of top entrepreneurs. And we're diving deep into 2025, why it just might be the year of the divorce tsunami. It's not because someone keeps squeezing the toothpaste wrong, you guys. There's some statistics suggesting that 2025 might be the year where the divorce rates go up. I'm just delivering the news to you guys. And if you're loving the show, listen, I invite you to not forget. Good morning, Benzie. You're here first thing in the morning. Good to see you in the comments, Benzie. Listen, if you're loving this for show, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and drop your best dad jokes in the comments. Remember, this is an R-rated experience. So I invite you to put the headphones on for the kids or just walk the kids out of the room. And a reminder, guys, you don't want to hit the snooze button. You want to get up and get momentum behind you. This show is all about momentum and movement. You get up, get moving, and it creates momentum, hit those big, audacious goals. We are your morning accountability partner. We land every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern time live on YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. The only morning show for men built to get up and get you guys going every single day. All right, speaking of my brothers, I got my brother from another mother, guy born in the same era as me. His name is John Anderson, hanging out in the lab, waiting for me in the Cinco de Mayo of California before he makes his way back to, no, he's in Mexico, back to California. Johnny, what's shaking, brother? How are you today?
I'm good.
I fell asleep on the couch working last night.
Did you?
Yeah. Good for you. How was your day? I was working away.
I was tired too, man. I laid down just for a few minutes. Just with Terry was, I don't know what you, man. I was like, I don't even think I got all the way flat. I was asleep.
Yeah, I was sitting on the couch actually doing some work, and I guess my head was nodding. Next thing you know, my phone was on my lap, and I was like, you know, the old fucking drilling in your mouth is open. You're like, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It was almost kind of like painful to try to stay awake. I'm like, what are you doing? Go to bed.
Right. We must have been having the same conversation. I was like, what are you doing, man? Go to bed. So I got up and I walked, and then I was in bed, and I guess I fell asleep again. I woke up, I was in my robe, my phone was like on my face and must have fallen. Like I just was one of those. I rolled over, was like, Billis, get your ass to bed, man. Do my robe off, put my phone on the charger, and went right to sleep. I feel great today. I had a great sleep last night. So I
did too. I totally did. Usually by 7 p.m. I got my phone is plugged in, turned upside down. So it's like I'm kind of in that deceleration mode.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I got up off the couch to go to bed, it was like this. I was like, holy shit, I'm so tired. This is difficult to watch.
I was curious, how was the long weekend yesterday in Mexico on the Monday of the weekend there? I know you guys had a pretty big weekend.
Good, man.
What was the celebrations yesterday going on?
It's fun. I mean, today yesterday, forgive me, was just more mellow, for sure. It's like it kind of ramps up. Thursday, people are coming into town. Friday, they start party. Well, I should start partying Thursday night, but Saturday is like cynical. Then Sunday is like family day here.
Yeah.
And it's like tradition family day. Like, by 2 o'clock, families are all dressed up, out finding a restaurant to eat something.
Yes.
So that's one thing that's kind of cool is, we don't, in America, we don't have those traditions that are like so countrywide unless it's, freaking Christmas.
Oh, Canada too, man. Like that listen, brother, that's been lost. Like, let's be frank here. That whole, I was having this conversation. It was Carter, I think was, but like the whole Sunday slowdown. It was Carter, because Carter was fascinated. He was talking to his grandmother about how his grandpa used to own a grocery store, and he couldn't get his head wrapped around that Sundays was like a day of rest. I'm like, oh yeah, Carter. I remember the day that Sundays in North America were all of a sudden started becoming open on Sundays, and how that whole lifestyle of being busy 7 days a week kind of came to life. It happened in our lifetime, and to your point, man, like those Sundays where the families get together, that's a lost art. That's the right term. People don't do it anymore.
As a family, what we did was we kind of combated that with, we did breakfast every day together.
Yes.
We did dinners every day. And once the girls got into where they were driving and they had practices and stuff like that, it was even before that. Before they were driving. Then practices might go way past dinner, but we really tried to create that tradition within the family of breakfast and dinner. We sit down, we talk.
Oh yeah. Create that routine within the time you can control. I was in Switzerland, Johnny, a number of years ago, and it struck me because I landed on the Sunday and there was nobody around. And I said to the driver, "Where's everybody?" He goes, "Oh, everybody's home, just spending time at home." I go, "Like cutting the grass?" He goes, "No, it's illegal to cut the grass on Sunday." I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it's you can't cut you have to, not have to, but it's encouraged to spend time with your family, not cutting grass, not doing chores around the house." And it was like an actual ghost town in Zurich that weekend to me on that Sunday.
Dude, so in my bodybuilding days, one sponsor I had was MHP. They still sponsor me, but they were real prevalent in my career at that point. One of my fellow teammates was also a pro from Switzerland. And he was like, I come out here, because wherever we're meeting somebody, because he's talking about leaving Switzerland. Whether whenever, because we compete all over the world. He's like, I come out here and it's just this crazy rat race, especially in America. He goes, then I go home and it gets quiet, it gets tranquil. It's a whole different world in Switzerland.
It absolutely is. Yeah. Good morning, Matthew Roof. Good to see you, brother. The morning routine, coffee and commenting. Morning, fellas. Thanks for the AM boost. Good to see you here. Johnny, are you a ride guy? Do you do events with your if you go to like a fair or somewhere where there's midway, do you get on the rides with your girls or your kids, or have you in your time, or do you do crazy shit, or are you more of an observer?
I mean, when they were little, I did whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like sometimes it was I don't know. I mean, when they were real young, and I was like, say, with the strength world, sometimes I wouldn't fit on the fucking rides. That would be
I'm sure. Now that you say that, and I'm curious. So when you would get into an airplane seat, in your lifetime, were you ever somebody who had to wear the two buckles? Because I know it's for the belly fat. I know you don't have belly fat.
You go to the fucking front of the plane. You go to the front of the plane where the fucking seats are bigger. That's where you're.
No, but even still, the front of the plane, I've seen people still have to have the extended seatbelt. And I'm being very serious here and respectful. Like I know you don't have big belly fat, but did you ever be in a situation where you had to, because of being a big fella?
If the seatbelt was supposed to go around my shoulders, then I would have probably needed two, but not my fucking waist.
No, because it's little. Yeah, I suspected that.
Well, it's because even at my biggest, I was still, I was never fat in that.
No,
world.
I know. Yeah.
That's kind of what helped me in that world, because there was very few of us that actually looked good. So, that was really helpful when promoters, because it's a show, of course, you have to be competitive.
Yes. Yeah.
But then promoters, this is like a fucking circus.
Yeah.
You need the really tall guy. You need the really fat guy. You need the guy with the abs. So I was the guy with the abs.
Yeah. Well, you said something that struck me is that when you're doing your strongman career, you were the guy still with the abs. So as when they were still putting a show on, they wanted the guy with the abs who can still pick up a big stone.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I asked you because I found some fun video just to have some fun this morning. Jimmy, let's run the bouncing ball video. I found something here that's just crazy, man. Check this out. And I'm asking my question is, would you do this?
Dude, I saw, I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw a dude in one of those things, right?
Yeah. Did you?
Well, I mean, I wasn't, it was a video.
Yeah.
What they were doing was they were fucking running shit into it. So first they started off running into it with a fucking golf cart, right? And then the thing just launched. Next thing you know, they got a fucking big truck and they're hitting that thing at like 55 miles an hour.
With a person inside the ball.
Inside the fucking thing, yeah. And so they finally hit it hard enough where it came in and it fucking broke the guy's leg and sent him flying in the air.
No
shit. Can you imagine getting hit, a fucking truck coming and hitting that thing? And you basically, the impact is so great. I mean, it snapped his leg like this, not a little break, like completely. Yeah. And then you're fucking launched like 200 feet in the air and you're coming down and you're bouncing 6 or 8 times before they don't even know he's broken. He's got a fucking broken leg bouncing around in there. Oh my God.
Jimmy, run the catapult. Jimmy, run the catapult. Check this one out. This is crazy. Jimmy, let's run it again from the beginning when it happens there.
He did. So they must have launched him on a catapult. Is that what you said?
Yeah. What I love about with Reels and TikTok now is that, so let's be frank, all these things happened when you and I grew up and when our guests grew up. But the fact of the matter is, not everybody was carrying phones to capture every stupid moment, right?
No.
So now you have these ridiculous people doing these crazy things and capturing with their phones. Jimmy, let's run this top of the building thing. I've seen some crazy, like this one here just freaks me right out. I'm afraid of heights. Let's check this one out. I want to get your opinion on this one. Check this one out. Jimmy. Here it is.
Dude, it's up. Oh my God.
Yeah, so that there, I know you do shit that others won't do. You're not doing that.
Brother, I just fucking this heights thing, dude, it's crazy. Just the other day, 2 days ago, I once wasn't, but this shit just comes out of nowhere. And so basically I had to climb up on a fucking ladder. Right? It was basically one that you tip against the house.
Yeah.
And I started climbing up this fucking thing, and I'm getting up there, and I'm like, dude, I don't, what the fuck is this feeling? I'll tell you what it is. I feel like I'm gonna piss in my pants, I'm gonna shit my pants, but more importantly, in my mind, this ladder was like kicking out underneath me. It got a hold of me so fast. I was like, my brain was like, this is not worth it. I was going into the worst possible outcome of this thing falling and blah, blah, blah. But it was crazy how I was probably only 10 feet in the air. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, like, what is this? I mean, when I was a kid living up, grew up on the Willamette River, dude, we used to fucking jump off the train trestles and shit.
I think as we get older, fear creeps in, man. I'm telling you, because I'm the same way. I had a little bit of fear as a young guy growing up. So for me, what I did is I bungee jumped. I did a big bungee jump. That helped me.
I did that too.
Yeah, and that helped me.
You got to get over it. But then all of a sudden, you're over it and it just fucking comes back, dude.
I walked. So there you go. Great example. I walked towards my fear, jumped off the ledge, bungee jumped, and I was fine for a while. But then as I get older, I look at some of this crazy shit, or I go with my family to like fairs and events. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm good. I'm just good standing on the ground. No, I'm good. Like I don't think I'm a pussy or nothing. I'm just I have no interest in going and making myself feel that way.
It's fucking crazy, dude. So I can't remember what year it was. I'm wrestling.
Yeah.
And we went to this. They took us. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll take a few of us out to promote, right? They're doing shit. And we went to this, I don't remember what it was, but you had, it was this structure, right? That'll describe it. You took this elevator fucking way up there.
Yes.
Right. And there was this section where you're walking from one side to the next. It's like two different structures up. And there's like a gangway between it inside, like a big fucking hole, steel and all that shit. But about halfway, there was a section that was like 15 feet across that was some sort of really strong fucking glass.
Yes.
So you're walking across this thing, standing on fucking glass. It's probably 600 feet to the ground. Crazy high.
Yeah.
Dude, I swear to God, I walked. That was part of what because people get all fucking weirded out when they walk across it. A lot of people won't walk across it.
Well, you go to the Sears Tower. It's called the Wirtz Tower, and it's in Chicago now. And there's a glass floor you walk on. And you're okay.
Dude, I started walking across this thing. I'm trying to think how old I was. It was probably late 30s, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I bungee jumped and all sorts of fucking crap.
Yeah.
There was no issue with heights. I walked across there. I looked down as I'm walking. I swear to God, I lost my equilibrium. I almost didn't make it to the other side. It was like it was almost like I lost my feet. Like I was fucking drunk or something. I was like, what was that? It was perfect for the promotion, because that's the shit they wanted to see.
Good morning, Marty. What's shaking, brother?
What's up, man? What's going on, guys? How you doing?
We're talking about scared of heights here. We're talking about scared of heights. But we got a guest hanging on the green room for us. And guys, what if luxury travel wasn't about indulgence, but actually saving the planet? There's a kind of a compromise. It's kind of a contradiction, right? Luxury travel, saving the planet. right? I don't know. Does it work? Can you do that? I don't know. We're gonna talk to Richard.
Interesting
Crawford.
Argument.
Well, because apparently, according to Richard Crawford, you can do a luxury eco adventure and still save the planet. So we're gonna ask him some tough questions this morning. Eco adventure, and Richard's a TV guy. Marty, we got a TV guy on the show today. A prime TV guy.
So yeah, he need to teach you some stuff, man.
Yeah. Yes, he does need to teach you some stuff. Yes. Yeah. Marty, before we break to the accountability check, and how was your day yesterday, brother?
It was good, man. It's very productive. Got a lot done. Had a good day business wise. Had a good day work wise. So
nicely done.
We're here, man.
Are you scared of heights, Marty?
A little bit. I've been to the Sears Tower actually.
Oh yeah.
I tried to go to the top. I don't know what happened, but they weren't taking any more people on the elevator. Something happened, so I didn't get to go to the top.
Well, brother, we were just giggling because if you got a little bit right now, wait fucking 30 years to see how you feel. It just fucking comes back out of nowhere. I was telling a couple days ago, I was about 10 feet up on a fucking ladder. I just about shit myself. I was like, what? Where did this come from?
Yo, I've done some crazy shit, but I can't go skydiving. I'm too scared, man.
There you go. Well,
I tried multiple times, and they're like, you can't jump out the first time by yourself. And all the guys that were going to jump, they're like, I'm not jumping with this guy attached to me. All the guys, they're like, no,
I wouldn't jump with you either, Johnny.
He's gross. He's overgrossing the weight limit of the equipment. I want nothing to do with this.
I saw a video yesterday. You know how sometimes we just do things with routine, we don't even think about it. Like we just get into it. Sometimes you'll drive. Marty, I bet you there's times you drive to the gym in the morning, you don't even think about it. You just all of a sudden you're there. You know what I'm getting at? Those times you just drive. You just
They said that's hypnotism, right?
Dudes, I saw a video yesterday. There was a parachuter. He was going up in the plane so many times training people. He got so used to just going through the routine, he fucking jumped out of the plane without a chute. True story. The guy fell to the ground because it was such a routine that he kept going up, jumping out, and then he jumped out. He died. And I'm not shitting you because it was that routine experience. It was like, okay, in and out. And it was like, holy fuck, I don't got to shoot.
Dude, can you imagine fucking jumping and you're doing all your tricks and shit, and all of a sudden you go looking for your ripcord. Fuck, where's the ripcord? Oh, Jesus Christ, where's the parachute?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right, guys, listen, let's bring Richard Crawford in a minute here, Jimmy. Let's do the accountability check-in. All right, if you got big goals, guys, if you got big goals, don't jump out of an airplane without a parachute. Yeah, true story. Half-assed effort costs more than no effort. Just ask the person that jumped out without the parachute. Yeah. When you're stuck in the middle, when you dabble, delay, or keep one foot out, you just don't stall your progress. No, you drain your energy. You stay busy, but you go nowhere. You show up, but your focus is gone. You check the box, but nothing moves, you guys. You're building something important, but you treat it like a side project. And then there's that gap between what you want and how you're showing up. You know it. Guys, you're laying there right now considering getting up, but you hit the snooze button, and you're watching the time click by. Every minute goes by. You know, every minute that goes by, you're getting a minute behind the guy that's getting up. You do it for 9 minutes, you do it all year, you're 2.5 days behind. It's that gap between what you desire and how you're holding yourself back. That's where the confidence fades. That's why you feel stuck, even when you're doing, quote unquote, the work. Deep down, you know that you can do more. You just haven't committed fully yet, and that's okay. The point isn't guilt, it's clarity. And here's what all in looks like, you guys. You get up without snoozing. I know who you are. You plan your day with intent. You fix fast when things flip. You finish what you start. You track real progress. And you push through the boring parts. It's called life, the loop. You already know where you stand, so ask yourself, are you getting up and getting after today? Are you ready to go on the one thing? And if yes, let's go. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck in the middle. And the middle is where the momentum dies. In the middle is where mediocrity lives. And if you are built for mediocrity, yeah, you need to go find another show. Yeah, true story. We don't build mediocre people here. We build people that get up and get after it every single day. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, 8 o'clock Eastern time, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, the only morning show for men to get their ass out of bed, not hit the snooze button, get after it, and hit those big, audacious goals. All right, Jimmy, let's keep it rolling here, you guys. Today, we're joined by Richard Crawford, the adventurous executive producer and host of Leave No Trace TV. No, not Leave No Trace, the one about people that are stolen. No, Leave No Trace TV. Richard just doesn't talk about eco-friendly travel. He lives it. He's recently checking Antarctica off his bucket list while filming the show. Think eco-friendly means roughing it. Well, about to flip that script, showing us how luxury and sustainability can be perfect travel companions. Without further ado, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends with myself, John and Martin. Extremely excited to introduce you to Mr. Richard Crawford. What's going on, Richard?
Hey guys, how are you?
Richard, what's up, brother? How are you?
Oh man, you guys, I don't know what's in your coffee, but you guys are jacked at 8 o'clock in the morning. You gotta send me some of that coffee. In fact, I think it's at 7 o'clock where you guys are.
Yeah,
no, dude, it's fucking 5:23
a.m. Are you
a.m.
Oh,
I'll tell you, you know what's in my coffee? A little fucking hit exercise. That's what it is.
Yes.
Hold on. You've already been to the gym, and it's 5 a.m.
No, I don't. It's this is just the early morning exercise. Is not for my body, it's for my brain.
That makes sense.
Richard, meet my buddy Marty. Marty, meet Richard Crawford from Amazon Prime.
What's going
Marty,
on, Richard?
how
you doing?
Man? Very nice to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you. I can't complain. I gotta tell you one thing though. I keep these guys young. I give them the energy. You know?
These
guys are dead without me.
Well, your demeanor is a little less erratic.
Marty brings the energy up and he brings the average age down. The only reason Marty is here is because that's the only reason he brings our average age down.
Well, I'll tell you, Marty's got the pace, but the question is, can he carry that pace for the next couple of decades? Because that's what the old boys have been doing. It's real easy to come out of the gate like a fucking banshee, but who's got the fucking sack to keep that shit going decade after decade? That's the question.
All right, cool.
Listen, Marta, I'm not doubting you. I'm just, I'm as always just planting a couple of seeds in your behind so you keep on going, baby.
I appreciate you, man.
Crawford, you're in the TV business, so you understand how the future works. We're setting this up so we can set the foundation so Marty can take over for Uncle Keith and Uncle Johnny in the future. So we have this morning show platform forever, and when Keith and Johnny are rolling over and climbing out of airplanes,
I'm gonna live to be 100 fucking plus years old.
Yeah, in our 100s, Marty's gonna be rocking and rolling here. So, hey, so Richard, let's get after it, pal. So you've been curious about our morning. We have to ask you this question. First of all, where are you joining us from today?
So I live in Washington, D.C., or just outside Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
The accent
too.
would suggest otherwise.
Yeah, your neighbors with Marty. Marty just lives up the road from you.
Yes, sir.
Whereabouts, Marty?
I'm in Largo, PG County, Maryland.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, Richard, what is your morning routine, brother?
I wake up really early because I'm old. So
yeah, baby. What's really early? I'm the same.
Genuinely, I'll start to wake up at 4:30.
Okay.
The chances of getting back to sleep are pretty slim. Every now and again, I might fall back to sleep, but I usually just kind of get up and get going. And I do like to go to the gym as early as possible because it gives you a firecracker up your ass. It just gets you going. It gives you that energy. Now, don't get me wrong. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I do have my schedule does allow the odd quick nap or two.
Oh, brother, you're talking my language, brother. We speak. Yeah, right. I'm up at 3, and I take my nap at 11, and that's non-negotiable.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. See, that's why we have Marty here, Richard. So all the old guys can teach. Marty's just going to go through life in a nice, easy way because he has all the knowledge. He just soaks it all up, and every single day he's like, okay, I need to do this now because I heard that from Crawford and from Billis and from Anderson. The next day, okay, I got to do this, and it's like the instructions for Marty's life, Richard.
Yeah, lucky me, right?
Lucky Christopher Martin. Richard, so you have a TV show on Amazon Prime, and you heard me tease it up about ecotourism and luxury and so forth. And there seems to be a confluence that you can't have luxury ecotourism. Yet, I was quite taken aback by the hook and by, the experience you have, which is that you got an ecotourism show, but it's rooted in luxury. And many people would say, that doesn't work very well. How does luxury ecotourism become a sustainable travel experience?
So let's step it back a little bit. Traditionally, when you told people, "Hey, I'm an eco-tourist," or I travel sustainably, what they automatically think is sustainable eco is you have to be barefoot, living in a mud hut, and eating berries, right? And that's just not the case. There's a lot of places, destinations, and resorts around the world who are higher end, but do so much for the planet, do so much for their environment that they're in. And also, more importantly, people forget that tourism and sustainability is also about social responsibility and cultural heritage and all of that kind of stuff too. So what we did initially when we started the show, it was actually called Out of the Ordinary, and we were visiting these incredible destinations that you would do as an aspiring traveler or somebody who has very aspirational goals and looking to do some things in the really high end. But when we started filming a couple of destinations, we realized they had these philosophies and were doing all these different things that really were focused on ecotourism, and we felt that was the story that needed to be told. Not just the fact that you could go to these incredible places, but in the background or in the foreground, they were doing some incredible things to help save the environment they're in and the planet ultimately. It's a fine line, right? You want people to come and see this incredible destination or experience, but you don't want those people who are coming to visit it to cause any damage. You literally want them to show up, see what they're doing, experience what they're going to do, and then leave no trace.
Yeah. Marty, Johnny, questions for Richard?
I think, it's a great concept. You started off by saying, what do you say, mud hut, barefoot eating berries. I'm all about the barefoot part. I rarely wear shoes, so I'm one third of the way there.
So all right, so you have to watch this episode 9 and 10 of season 1. We went to the Maldives. Yes. And when you get there, the first thing that they do is called no news and no shoes. You get there, you hand over your shoes. It's on a very little private island. You hand over your shoes, you don't see them again until you leave.
Wow, you're talking my language. You say private island and no shoes? Shit, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
You're tickling me there.
Michelin star chefs, like massage, all the freshest fruit, the best experience in the world, a very high-end, luxurious experience. And no shoes.
Awesome. Hey, you're hanging with Keith, John, and Marty here on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Our friend Richard Crawford this morning. Richard, why do you think that people assume that luxury and sustainability can't exist in the same sentence?
Because luxury suggests indulgence.
Yes.
And indulgence suggests maybe greed and avarice and don't care about waste. It's all about money and waste and not about anything else. And it's just not true. And the best example I can give you, and it's relevant, right? It's what is luxury? We went to Antarctica, right? Antarctica is the coldest, driest, windiest place in the world. Almost like living on another planet, except there's oxygen. So we had accommodation there that was really high end for Antarctica, and it was pods. It was like a out of this world experience. It was incredible.
I've seen the picture. Yeah.
But it wasn't like a luxury resort in the Maldives. They couldn't provide that in Antarctica, but it was luxury in Antarctica.
Yeah.
I never even knew that existed.
Yes.
It's there's a lot of Antarctica trips now that do the coastal around the ice shelf and stuff. But this organization, White Desert, man, it was a once in a lifetime experience.
Yes. Hey, okay, guys, we're at the bottom of the hour here with Keith and Richard and John and Marty here. Johnny, I know you got to rock and roll, brother, so I'm going to walk you out of here. You're having yourself an awesome day here, pal. Marty, you sticking around for a few minutes? You got to rock and roll as well, brother.
I got to rock and roll too.
All right. Man. So, Richard, can you stick around here for a little bit? Keep the conversation going.
Of course, yeah, man. Absolutely.
Beautiful. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a fit tip. We're going to do the fit tip with Marty. Johnny, you have yourself an awesome day, brother, and travel safe today, okay, pal?
Absolutely. And Richard, it's a pleasure to meet you, brother. Pleasure to meet you,
my friend.
Safe travels, Johnny.
Yeah, and Johnny, stay off the ladder today, brother. If you're going to get on the ladder, make sure you have Terry text me so I know what's going on and take pictures. Because
no more ladders in my future, brother.
I'm going to do the same thing with you. If I'm getting on a ladder, I'm sending you a note. All right, brother.
Right on. Have a good loop, everyone.
All right, we're going to do the fit tip with Marty, and then Marty, they're going to walk out of here. I'll talk to you later, Marty. Then Richard and you are going to keep the conversation going. Okay, brother? Awesome. Let's do it, Jimmy.
Let's do it, man. We got the fitness tip for today. So listen. A lot of people show up to the gym and just check a box, which is totally fine. I'm happier in the gym. But if you want a real change, weight loss, muscle building, endurance, performance, whatever it is, you can't just show up and check a box, right? You got to work out with a certain intensity. You have to work out with a purpose, and you got to have a goal set. And along with having a goal set, you got to have a time limit on it. All right, I want to do 10 pounds in 3 months. I want to lose 10 pounds in 4 months, 20 pounds in 3 months, whatever it is, right? You've got to show up with intent and purpose if you want to hit a goal. Just checking a box is fine for the guy. You know, he had an upsetting doctor's visit, right? You know, he's been living his life poorly. He's feeling bad about himself. He's just getting started. Perfectly fine to check a box. I'm proud of you, brother. But to those of you who are above that, beyond that level, on a higher fitness level, come on, let's get in there and get serious, right? You got tools, you got resources, you got YouTube, TikTok, ChatGPT, Instagram. You got this show with some great information on here. You got me, Johnny, and Keith, right? Let's step it up a notch. And I guarantee you're not going to regret it. That's the fitness tip for today.
Good message, guys. Don't just show up with intent is really what the message Marty's dropping here.
Of course.
Marty, I love you, man. You're having an awesome day today. I always appreciate hanging out with you, and I'm glad you're able to come today and say hi to Richard. And you have a good one, pal. We'll talk later, okay?
You too, Richard. Nice to meet you, man.
Marty, pleasure, my friend.
And don't let him creep you out. He's a good guy. He gets a little weird sometimes, but he's a good guy.
I've done my research.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
Marty, get the hell out of here, man.
I'll see you later, Keith.
All right, you betcha, buddy. All right, we're hanging out with Richard Crawford. He's returned from a luxury eco adventure in Antarctica, proving you don't have to practice and sacrifice comfort to travel responsibly. We're getting sustainable luxury eco travel conversation with myself and Richard Crawford this morning. Good morning, Mike McQuillan. I see you. Yes, Keith's home alone today. I'm doing the old facial expression, and Matthew Roof coming back with thank God phones didn't exist when I was in my 20s. Matthew, I agree, man. I'm on the same page. And skydiving is the greatest rush experience. You can't imagine the peace during the float down after the chute opens. Richard, have you skydove before?
I have. Many years ago, my 30th birthday.
Nice.
I did the tandem. I was listening to you guys this morning, and with Johnny, I was like, "There's no way, no freaking way, somebody's strapping that guy to them, and then without maybe 2 or 3 parachutes." He's a big guy. But I've done it, man. It was a hell of an experience.
That's awesome. So I want to lean into Antarctica with you for a few minutes because I had a trip planned to Antarctica, and then pandemic happened. I had a big trip planned, not your regular, I'm going to put air quotes, not your regular corporate commercial trip. I had located a pretty out there outfitter, was looking at Vincent, was looking at spending time in the middle of the continent.
Yeah. Wow.
Richard, as time is going on, it's appearing to me that Antarctica is becoming kind of like just another place everybody goes to. Am I wrong with that assumption? You know, because
I would say yes.
It used to be kind of a big deal to cross the Drake Passage. Now it's like, oh yeah, it's went to Antarctica. It's like everybody goes to Antarctica now.
There's thousands of people going to Antarctica every year now, but like I just mentioned before, it is around the ice shelf, right? So yes, they're going through the Drake Passage, which, man, that I've never done that, but that's crazy in itself.
Yes.
But what you're talking about, the opportunity that you had, and hopefully it'll come back around for you again, is getting onto the continent, right? Getting into Antarctica. And no, there's no over tourism there at this point. Just to give you a couple of stats, in the summertime, which lasts about 5 months or so, where the sun is actually above the horizon.
Yes.
Antarctica is almost twice the size of Australia. People don't realize that, right?
Wow.
Almost twice the size of Australia. On that landmass or on that ice mass, there's only 5,000 people in the height of the summer. 99% of that is research. In the winter, there's only 1,000 people, right? So there's no tourism in the winter.
That's fascinating to me.
So the tourism is very, very, very limited. And in fact, the people that we went and visited, the White Desert Organization, they've got 6 pods, 2 people per pod max for a total of 3 months. I think they can take 120 people.
Wow.
So for me, there's no issue with over tourism.
You'll appreciate what I'm going to say next because of where you're from. I was very fortunate to spend some time off the coast of southern Australia in the Neptune Islands in a cage with white sharks. With the Rodney Fox Foundation. And I found myself in a moment, and you're going to appreciate this. I found myself in a moment in the cage all by myself, bottom of the ocean, thinking to myself that, holy fuck, the next piece of land is way over there in Antarctica.
Right.
And all I look around myself is see these floating school buses being white sharks, right? And that was a moment I'll never, ever forget, right?
Yeah.
And I bring it to you because you're from there, and I'm sure you can appreciate the kind of the geography.
So Keith, just to correct you, I'm actually from Scotland.
Oh yeah, you're from Scotland. That's right. Not
yeah, I'm from Scotland,
yes.
but I do. My production partner is out of Australia, so
Yes.
I'm in Sydney every other month. So I'm in Australia.
I knew my research was kind of correct. Okay, thank you on that one.
Yeah. But yes, it's that sense of massiveness, and it's the exact same on Antarctica. You stand in the middle of Antarctica, and you look out, and you're looking at places that probably nobody, 0.00009% of the people that ever lived in the world has actually seen.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So there's that sense.
What do you think is a common mistake that travelers make when they're trying to be responsible tourists? When they go on their trip, they go, okay, I'm going to be a sustainable tourist on this trip. I'm gonna go and I'm going to be somewhat eco-friendly. What do you witness? Because this is what you do for a living. What's the common mistake?
Well, I think that one of the biggest mistakes is when they're choosing a place to go that they think is a place that's practicing ecotourism or sustainability. And a lot of times now, although it's becoming less and less, a lot of destinations do a little bit of greenwashing, which means they say some stuff that sounds like ecotourism, and it's really not. I mean, a hotel saying, hey, we won't pick up your towels every day because we don't want to wash them every day. It'll save the planet. That's a very, very lazy approach to ecotourism. And I think probably the biggest mistake is that people will read some of this online when they're booking their trip and say, oh, that's great, I'm going to go there and be a big ecotourist.
I'm glad you raised that because I'm a marketer. I grew up, we're probably very similar in age. And I look at the way that ecotourism and sustainable tourism and the carbon footprint has overtaken media, overtaken culture in the last 10, 15 years, largely in our lifetime. And I got to be honest, brother, much of it to me seems like narrative control and marketing. And I struggle with how real much of it is.
Yeah.
It's no different to me than and all respect to my big brands out there, because I'm trying to hit you guys all up as partners, but pick a big brand. It's no different than a big CPG brand in North America saying, okay, all of a sudden now we're going to be a sustainable company. You're not fucking sustainable. You just got a marketing message and you're putting it out there. You know what I'm trying to get at, Richard? It seems very loose and fluffy and not rooted in reality. It's rooted in profit.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. Fortunately, there are some measures in place where organizations like B Corp and LEAD are organizations that do certify, so give certification.
Okay.
Therefore, authenticity and clarification to people who are going to do business with these businesses.
Okay.
That when they're certified, when a business gets certified as a B Corp, it is not just a quick interview. It is sometimes a year or more of providing data, of sitting through classes, of doing a lot of different things in order to become a B Corp company. And I'm using B Corp as an example because that's just one certification. And in fact, I think with B Corp, you as a company, let me just make sure I get this right. You have to change your structure, your company structure, to involve every other person in the planet to say that they are all a partner with you in a certain legal way. So, yes, there's a lot of greenwashing out there and a lot of, hey, we do this, a big marketing scam. But thankfully, there's organizations out there now who are holding the feet to the fire, so to say, and say, all right, you want to be eco and sustainable, then you're going to have to get certified and give you some credibility.
Yeah. Good morning. Good time. Good to see you in the comments here, brother. Well, and I think we have to look no further. And my show is jest. My show is full of jest, not politics. So I like to jest about politics. That's how I bring it together. But I look no further than our friendly neighborhood Elon Musk, who likes to fly around in his private airplane, yet build an eco-friendly car company, which seems to have a lot of contradictions rooted within each other. And I got no judgment on it, just observing, Frank, just a pure observation.
Yeah, and it's like anything else. I mean, initially it's like, oh, you got to have, we're going to have EVs. It's going to be the best thing for the world. It's going to be battery operated. Won't be as much gasoline being guzzled. But then you scratch the surface of the battery, and and you hear that, well, to get those minerals, this has to happen.
That's my point with even ecotourism, right? Like that's why I asked the question. Good morning, Holroyd. Good to see you in the comments here, brother. That's why I get so, and I think it's an age thing. I think it is an age thing. It's a skepticism we have as we get older, right? You start, and I'm a curious man, so I'm always curious, right? So when I see, that's why I was so eager to chat with you today, because I'm like, okay, I really want to get, because I believe it, but yet part of me is like, I don't know, because I'm a marketer too, and I, you know what I mean?
The important thing is, Keith, that we're having the conversation and we're making, you know, are we getting it right 100%? Of course not, right? It's a big,
but at least we're starting, right?
Yeah.
I read something recently about you that I really can relate to, and I want to talk about this with you. Was the first time you ended up on the Mara in Kenya? Yeah, seeing the white rhinos. I'm going to suspect you went to the Conservancy in Lua. Yeah. So did I. I spent time with Lua Conservancy. As a matter of fact, I'll share with you privately. I turned the internet on at the Lua school because the internet was off, and I couldn't understand why these kids didn't have internet. And I was walking around the place, and I'm like, "Why are these wires not plugged in?" I'm like, "Oh, we can't afford internet." And I was like, "What?" The internet changed my life, so I turned it on for them. You know, so I. But amazing, well done. Thank you. Let's talk about the white rhinos. Let's talk about Lua. Let's talk about your mission for going there, and did that change you? What was the impact for you? Oh, first of all, anytime I go to Africa, it changes me. I feel like Africa was the creation or the cradle of civilization. It just does, brother. Yeah, let's talk about something to your soul, especially being in the Mara. Yes, and seeing like the life cycle in front of you happen right in front of you. It does something to you. I agree with you so much. It really does. Yeah. And with the rhinos, God, it's such a, you know, it's such a strong story. And I got to hang out with, I think it was Rhino One, the guys who are, I think they're a volunteer force, but they get paid a little money. Yes. They're kind of making sure there's no poachers in the area and stuff like that. So I got to hang out with them for a while, and they're doing a wonderful job. But yeah, it touches your soul, man. Africa does something to you. I just had, in season 2, I just had the opportunity to go into the Congo, and we did. Yeah, we went in there and did a little gorilla trekking, and that was, again, probably as well as Antarctica, to me, the second most incredible experience of my life. Is that right? Yeah. What kind of interaction did you have with the gorillas? So these gorillas are the Western Highland gorillas. Okay. There's a lot of gorillas in Uganda and Rwanda. Yep. We were in Republic of Congo. Yeah. These gorillas live in trees a lot more than other gorillas typically. So our interaction with them, first of all, we're going in. It's not like there's a path to go see these gorillas. We have a guide that's kind of heading us through the jungle. We don't know where we're going. We don't know if the troop has moved on. Yeah. And so the anticipation of seeing them was amazing. And then coming face to face with them, and you know, my curiosity looking at them was reflected with them looking back at me. Yes. They were looking at me like, wow, look, what's that guy? As long as he keeps his distance, you know, we're not going to bother them. But the powerful creatures. But what about this whole meme or this whole thing online about 100 guys versus a gorilla? Let me tell you. I had for you. All right. So for me, I can tell you, I've seen a gorilla up close. Yeah. I've seen him beat his chest and say, "Hey, stay back." You know, it wasn't aggressive towards us. It was just like, "Hey, you've come far enough. You know, you're okay where you are." There's no way 100 men are beating a gorilla. First of all, you can only get about 10 of men around the gorilla at one time, and each time he would just swing his arms and knock him across the jungle somewhere. I found myself, when I saw a rhinoceros for the first time and some of the animals I saw in Africa, making myself, you know, and you see a giraffe in real life, you're like, geez, why is that tree moving? And it's like, no, it's actually a giraffe. And it's, you know, because we lose context, right? Yeah. It struck me that I thought I was looking at prehistoric time. Yeah. I could only think that when you're standing in front of a gorilla, as a human being, as a man, you're struck in you're awestruck in a moment, your brain's trying to wrap your head around the concept of time. Yeah. And the similarities are just like, it's nuts. It's like looking at a person. Yes. Right. So it's crazy. Yeah, because it plays tricks on your mind. Because you're like, why can't I communicate with that person? But it's like, well, no, it's actually an animal, mammal, or you're like, it doesn't make any sense to you, right?
Right, but there's mannerisms, there's facial expressions. It's like it just doesn't make sense that we are technically, I guess we're technically a different species. Is that right? We're part of the same species, but we're a different species. Yeah. Oh, what an experience that was.
That's fun. So what do you got plans for the show, and talk a little bit about your next season on the show and so forth.
Well, I'm really excited because season 2 comes out. It's been a long time. We spent a long time filming season 2. We went to all 7 continents. It took a long time in post to get it edited and get it out and get it distributor. And it comes out in June on Amazon Prime. So very excited for season 2. And we, just to run them off: Antarctica, Norway, Costa Rica, Belize, the Congo, Tasmania, and Bhutan, I think. So we're really excited to get those out.
When I saw your stuff, I was like, this dude has my job. I'm not sure how this dude has my job, but this guy's got my job. I'm like, okay, but I'll talk to him anyway. So
I'm very, very fortunate, Keith. I have to say, very fortunate. But we're planning season 3. We've got a couple of locations already signed up. We're going to Mongolia. Do a little bit of stuff in Mongolia.
Yes.
We're hoping to go to Namibia. Is one of my I've never been, so I want to go.
Hit the sand dunes in Namibia as it hits the water there.
I want to see the scale. I want to see where the desert meets the ocean. I want to see that with my own eyes. Yeah. And I think we're doing Sri Lanka and maybe the Faroe Islands, which I'm really curious about.
Okay, well, if you need a co-host for season 3, Uncle Keith,
if I had $1 for every time.
I'm sure. I got a business question for you. So, is this? Do you own the show? Is the show yours?
We own the show, yes. We're an independent production company. It's a little bit of a leap of faith on our part to go out there and spend the money to make the show in the hope that it'll sell in the market. So far, things have worked out for us.
That was my suspicion, which is okay. So you create the show, you make the show, and then you go and essentially, quote unquote, sell it to a distributor.
Yeah. Which was hard. When we first did it, the first season, there was a lot of difficulties there because we'd reach out to these organizations and say, hey, we want to come in. We want to spend a week or 2 there with a crew, and you're going to give us everything for free, but you'll appear on this television show. And they'd be like, well, where's it airing? I'm like, I don't know yet because we haven't sold it. So season 2 was much easier because we could say this airs on Amazon Prime, and people were much more open to us coming down. For example, Antarctica. That trip that I'm talking about costs $120,000 per person.
Yes.
Per person. Yeah. So $250,000 for a couple. So they very generously gave us a space because the show's on Amazon Prime. And now that certain markets, you're in Canada, aren't you?
Yeah, I get it. I got your show. Yeah.
Yeah. So certain markets have purchased season 1, they're purchasing season 2, and as we develop season 3 and go into season 3, more markets will purchase it. So the return, the ROI gets a little bit bigger each season. We're not killing it. We're not millionaires because of the show. Yeah. We're investing the money back in that would make season 1.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, let's do some rapid fire, brother, before I walk you out of the lab here this morning. Favorite travel snack, Richard Crawford.
Oh God, travel snack. I'm a big candy feed, man. Any candy.
So chocolate or candy?
Chocolate caramel.
Oh, nicely done, brother. Yeah. So I'm chocolate peanut butter, man. The greatest 2 inventions in the whole planet. Peanut butter and chocolate, the greatest, I'm telling you. Luxury travel, sunrise breakfast or sunset dinner?
Sunrise breakfast.
Nicely done. One item you can't travel without?
Oh, Christ. My shorts, man, so I can go swimming anywhere in the world.
Weirdest thing you've ever eaten abroad?
I ate conch penis.
Jimmy, there's the cut. Richard Crawford eating the conch penis.
There you go.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I still got AJ laughing here. And then my closing question for you this morning is, if you had to pick one luxury that you absolutely can't give up while traveling sustainably, what would it be?
Well, let's be honest. I guess we talk about relevant to, you got to have water, right? And so, I gotta carry my water bottle around me everywhere I go around the world so that I don't take plastic with me.
Yes.
So in essence, that's a luxury.
Yes, that's true, eh? That's so true. Yeah. All right, well, listen, you're hanging out with Keith Billis, Richard Crawford here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Richard joins us from Washington today. He is an executive producer and luxury eco adventure travel. He's the executive producer and the host of Leave No Trace TV. You can find his show on Amazon Prime. Very, very fortunate to have Richard hanging out with us here today. Richard, where can folks connect with you, find you? Besides Amazon Prime, where can my community, where can our audience connect with Richard Crawford?
Yeah, they can go to Instagram and Facebook at Leave No Trace TV.
Awesome.
And of course, LinkedIn, Richard Crawford.
Yeah.
I don't even know what my LinkedIn handle is, but it's Richard Crawford.
That's awesome. Will you come hang out with me again sometime?
Oh, of course, man. Love to. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it.
Especially as season 3 comes out. And
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And I believe I grabbed some time on your calendar later today. I'd invite you to check your calendar. I'd like to grab about 20 or 30 minutes with you later today. If that works for you, that'd be awesome. Just to catch up.
Yeah,
awesome.
Sure.
All right, well, listen, Jimmy, let's walk Richard out of here. Richard, I appreciate you, man. Such a lot of fun with you. I could have talked with you all day. My curious brain is full of questions, but I'll put them aside for our second sit down. Okay, pal?
All right, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right, take care. All right, Richard's going to get out of here. We're going to walk AJ in a quick second here, guys. You're hanging out with myself. Johnny and Marty are out for the day. Johnny's making his way back to California. He was out there in Mexico this weekend, and Marty is on the freeways of Washington, heading to the gym. But of course, we got my brother from another mother, AJ Eglin, joining me here this morning for Mind Fuel, and I thought I'd have some fun with him this morning since the two of us are here. Jimmy, let's bring up AJ into the lab. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I got you muted on vertical here. Let's get you. Oh. Hey, I just you and me here today, and because of that, I thought we could have some fun here this morning and maybe talk about. Do I have you there now?
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah. So, buddy, our fucking team won.
Man, that was insane. Like, obviously, all day yesterday, it's all anyone talked about around here, and rightfully so.
Yes,
but it was, it's hard to believe that. I was just like, oh man, I still can't believe that happened, like in the way that it happened. And it's amazing how in a fraction of like seconds, we're talking about how the complete feeling, the complete perception, the complete whatever of a whole organization can just change.
Less than 2 seconds. Less than 2 seconds. Less than it took you to take that sentence out.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk about with you today, actually, because I want to weave it into the relevance of the show, but also weave it back into the weekend, was the mental state. We talk mind fuel, we talk mental performance on the show all the time, and I know you're not hanging out talking to the boys. I know you work with the organization. I know you're not sitting on talking with them, but let's speculate a little bit about the nerves going into Game 7, the mental state of our goaltender, and the mental ability to pull through in that moment, and just imagining what's going through their brains, right? Like I can't imagine actually, and I'm trying to say, like, let's talk a little bit about that. Like,
Sure.
That was a mental win. I was just mental resilience. That's what it was
Huge. Well, and you know what? And I'm not saying anything that he didn't say himself in his post-game interview, but when you saw it with Connor Hellebuyck, one of the first things he said was like, hey, this is no surprise to anyone. Like, this has been a mental battle this whole series, right?
Yeah.
And I know he's probably referring to himself a lot, and probably I'm assuming the team too, but a lot to himself in that capacity. I mean, that position in itself, you have to be so mentally strong to play that goalie position, right? And I kind of thought it was, I kind of loved it that in that moment that he wasn't like just, super like stoic and just like, and just made it seem like as if nothing had rattled him all series. You know what I mean? I kind of love that he was like, hey, it's no surprise out there, man. I was battling all series mentally, like had the peaks and valleys. And I kind of like that he just addressed it and he brought it up. And, we're always talking about that piece of vulnerability and just kind of and speaking it. And I kind of thought it was really cool that like they didn't even ask him that piece. He just voluntarily brought it up himself and just kind of addressed it, the elephant in the room, and just addressed it. And just I feel there's a lot of power in that. And that probably gives him a lot of power and confidence in moving forward to be like, yeah, I was battling out there, but you know what? Here I am. I'm on the other side of it. The only way, I always say like, well, it's not my saying, but I love the saying, the only way out is through, right? And he just stuck it out and the whole team stuck it out. stuff got hard, you're down 2 goals, you're not playing your best, and you're game 7, and you just keep working and you keep working, you just keep chipping away. And we always talk about those little tiny steps, right? And you see over the first period, then in the second, you start seeing it shifting a bit and we start getting some momentum, but then we let in the 3rd goal. But you still kind of get the sense that we've started to tilt the table a bit, and we're starting to really control it a bit. In the 3rd period, you're chipping away and you're chipping away. And there's, just such an unbelievable amount of sense of resiliency in there. But that type of experience together, like the piece that I love is that, you have so many passionate hockey fans around this city, and it talks to so many people, and they're just like, oh, we want to see the Jets do well. We want them to win. And in my head, I'm like, hey, you want the Jets to win the cup, right? And I'm like, what they're going through, the thing that you're so upset about them going through, is necessary for them to go through to win, to be a champion. Like we're not just going to win 4 games and sweep every series. So everything that you guys say that you want so badly for the team in the city, like this moment that we're in, when you're down 2 goals in game 7, like that's a necessary step for you to go through. So if you want the championship, you got to ride with your team through that tough times, through that adversity, and you got to stick through them and support them through that. And everything that we want as a team, as an organization, as a city, as everything, it's all right on the other side of that, right? And you just got to be willing to go through it. And they went through it and they came out the other side. We're in the 2nd round, and I got to believe that experience as a whole for the team was just, I think it's already a really tight group that they have. They always talk about how much they love and respect each other, and they love being in that room. That's even got to just solidify. That's like a magnifier that they just went through there. Like it's 10 times stronger. You were short guys. You had key players that were out with injury. You were short, like everything stacked against you, and you get through that. You all of a sudden know, hey, we can do this. Everyone in this room, man, we care about each other, and we're capable of doing this.
Good morning, Flexible. I see your comments there. I see a comment in the feeds. Thanks for joining myself and AJ's Eglin. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Flexible, this is the only morning show for men to get their ass out of bed. Flexible, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to do so. We're live every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Roof, I see your comments as well, brother. We'll talk about it literally forever. I now have a team in the West. Yes. Matthew Roof is a Rangers fan, AJ, but I've gotten to know Matthew over the last couple weeks here. He's now a legitimate Winnipeg Jets fan. And, awesome. And I was eager to chat with you today because I thought that win was all about mental resilience. It was all mental resilience, right? And that's why I thought it was so timely and so important to discuss, because you're out with your top forward, you're out with your top defenseman, your goalie's struggling. Talent is one thing, but without mental resilience, none of that happens. Like none of it happens, right? And then what I also have enjoyed in the last 24 hours, and what I've enjoyed about the humanity of the entire experience was the interview I watched. And I meant to grab it here this morning for the segment, but I ran out of time. Was the interview I saw between Adam Lowry and Rick Bowness, former head coach, and they expressed love and admiration. And 2 professional, a hockey player and a coach, on a live sports broadcast use 3 words you never hear ever. He said, "I love you." And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? There's a pro athlete. We talk about the stoicism in 2025, and there's another pro coach, and they're going on TV saying, "I love you" to each other. I'm like, what am I in the Twilight Zone right now? But I'm like, but that was the reason for me that the hockey team win. And that's the reason why I think that what happened in that series is going to continue to propel them mentally into the next one. Like there's power in what's happened. And I also, the last thing you said too, which I was quite fascinated by, was, it's like we said, you can't have love without hate. You can't win without losing. And there's something to be said with it. You have to learn how to win. And that example was learning how to win. You had to go through that moment. How do you win with less than 2 seconds? What we just showed you.
Yeah.
And then here's what I find fascinating to the flip side of this, AJ, because we haven't talked much about this either.
Yeah.
You're a St. Louis Blue or you're a fan. You're less than, just count for a second. You're less than, this happened. Those 2 words, you've lost. So I'm going to say this happened. There's 2 seconds right there. And you've went from going towards the cup to losing it all. Like the other the mental side of losing there now. Yeah. You follow me?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Cause there's a flip. The only reason why we could feel that absolute exhilaration and happiness and excitement and stuff. And the reason why we know what those feelings are, and we have we are able to conceptualize them, is because the opposite also exists, right? And unfortunately,
yes,
right. So unfortunately, in this case, it was the Blues and their fans feeling that, right? But just going back 1 second too to what was, I agree with you. I thought the interview between Rick Bowness and Adam Lowry was awesome for all the exact same reasons that you mentioned. And what I think is really important too,
human interview, not a sports interview.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. And yes, great way of putting it. And what's cool about that is that that guy is our captain.
I know.
And so when you know that, then you get a real sense of like what that team would be about. You know what I mean? Like, because that's your leadership, man. That's the tip of the spear of your leadership. Like that's the guy out in front. And so when you see when you see that thing, you're just like, like I get it, man. Like these guys are capable of doing something really special, right?
Flexible. We're talking about the recent win by the Winnipeg Jets in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They beat St. Louis Blues in Game 7 with less than 2 seconds left. Good morning, Cosmic Vision. Good to see you here, brother. Good to have you in the comments. Always good to see Cosmic here. So, AJ, let's take the conversation to what I was thinking about last night, which is, again, back to mental performance. You got a couple minutes for me? You got a couple minutes? Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
I wonder if there now becomes a mental letdown. Again, I want to stay mental. I wonder if there becomes a mental letdown as a human being. You've just achieved something magnanimous. Your emotions, everything's on the line. Talk through mental performance going from, okay, I just achieved something. Like what have the last 24 hours been about? Processing that, putting it aside, and resetting the brain for what's next? Because part of me wonders, was it I
get it. Yeah, totally get it. I get what you're saying for sure. Yeah, and I think so. I think where using the analogy of sports, but this could apply to anyone.
Yes,
where great organizations and great teams would do. And I would, again, not that I like to make assumptions. I'd assume that we're doing the same here. Again, that's just speculation, but how the ideal way to handle that is that we have that structure, right? And so there's that there's that highest of the high, like you say. So you're like, okay, where do you go from that? And there's a lot of emotions, and there can be this like letdown of feeling like, oh man, we peaked at this high. Like, how can you top this? Where can you go from this? What do we do next? And it's easy. That structure exists, right? You wake up the next morning and you're like, okay, what's this? Okay, well, I get up. I guess I got to go. I go to the rink. I get my treatment done. I watch my film. I do my workout. I do, right? And you have that structure, and that's what just keeps you in that rhythm and keeps you moving forward and keeps you, right? And you would see that in, you can see that in business or in your everyday life. I know you love your structure and you love your stuff. And I'm sure one of the things that kind of keeps you on track, even after big wins, is you wake up the next day and you're like, well, I know what I do, man. I got my non-negotiables. And these are my values and stuff. And this is what I do. Here's my structure that you laid out, and you just go right back into it. Right. And it really, I feel it really is something that can kind of like anchor you, so you don't kind of float too far away into the. This
is brilliant. Let me tell you why this is brilliant. We had a guest on the show. I don't even remember him, John Espotito, a couple weeks ago. John's dad died. His dog died.
Yes. Cancer. Yes, I do remember John. Yes.
And his friends and family couldn't understand how he was able to pull it together. And you know what he said his secret was? His routine.
Right.
You just said it. That he had his non-negotiables, his daily routine, that it was like that was his safety net. That even though his world was going madness, every day he'd get up and get back, and even though it was still difficult, he'd have his sadness, but he would go through his daily structure. So I'm bringing it back to what you just said, and now I get it, because that makes a lot of sense. You're like, okay, I got to go back. I'm going back to structure. Yep. Because structure is what helps me win or lose. And that's the kind of the gamble. The structure is the foundation of winning or losing. Simple as that.
Right. Yeah, totally. And we know what to expect.
Yeah.
when we go through those routines, right?
Yes.
So the guys come in, they're flying high, they're really excited, and then they get back in their routine, and then their body and their mind is like, oh yeah, we know what's expected of us when we do this. Like this is us getting ready to compete. This is us getting ready to be my best. This is us getting ready to like how I handle my recovery. This is us. So your body picks up on that routine, that familiarity. It's very powerful. It likes it. Yes, it loves it, and it gravitates towards it, and it just kind of gets us locked in and kind of keeps us on track, right? And not to get pulled too far in either direction with the highs and lows, which happen with the competition.
Yeah.
In this case for us, an extreme high, right?
Yes. But, yeah. Again, very much just to simplify it, the power of a routine, the power of the gym metaphor. Go in and put the reps in. You put the reps in, you add 2.5 pounds. Go in and put the reps in, put 2.5 pounds. You win, you fail, put the reps in, show up 2 weeks later, you achieve it, you don't. Right. And again, many people that are looking for the silver bullet, and I know for a long time when I first met you, I kept searching for the silver bullet. You're like, no, it's just actually pretty boring. It just fucking routine do the same thing. Oh yeah, it is.
Just keep showing up.
Yeah. And it's really enlightening to me to hear us say that, because when I hear you, when I asked, because I got to be honest, I was like, okay, how do we build ourselves back up again after that magnanimous win? It's like, did our team think they won the Stanley Cup, right? Because part of me was thinking that, after we won Dallas that series, that game a few weeks ago to get into the playoffs, it was like we'd kind of been on a downswing since then. It was like, well, no, guys, you still got work to do. Yeah, and your point, which is just got to get back into routine and get back after it, is the key to it all, frankly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just that consistency, that structure, that routine, and it's what keeps us centered. It's what keeps us like it's our kind of guiding compass, right? Like it aligns us with our goals to keep moving forward and keep progressing and keep getting better and keep it. It's no different. I mean, we've been in the gym together for a lot of years. Yes. Whenever we had a goal of like, oh, I want to squat this much or bench this much, or I want to do this much on rows. As soon as we did it, it's like really cool, right? Yes. But it's not like we just immediately stopped working out after, we kind of talked about it. And so, okay, I finally benched 300 pounds. It's like, what's next, right? And you kind of live in that moment and you kind of soak it in. You're like, man, how awesome is that? And we congratulate each other and like, dude, that's so great for you and blah, blah, blah. But then the next day we're just back in the gym, just back in the routine, in the structure, in the workout. And now we're chasing 305 or whatever it is, right? And it just, and it just kind of never stops. And it's just keeping that structure, that routine just also keeps us in that growth mindset where we're just like, we always have the opportunity to keep improving, keep getting better, and keep taking those tiny steps towards our goals, right?
Yeah. Hey, before I let you go here, I got a quick little article for you. Apparently, there might be some divorce waves incoming. There's why marriages may crumble in 2025. And Nation, have you ever wondered why so many marriages seem to crumble all at once? Well, brace yourselves, because experts are predicting a divorce wave hitting us in 2025, AJ. Financial stress, mental health crisis, and alarming backlog of deferred divorces that have been sat back and waiting. And understanding what's driving this trend isn't just fascinating. It could be crucial to saving relationships, managing personal well-being, and navigating the emotional and financial fallout more effectively. And research clearly links that, economic downturns, clearly that we are going through an economic downturn right now in North America, around the world, actually, that these economic downturns link deferred divorces, AJ, where couples stay together due to financial constraints rather than happiness.
Right.
And so the financial stress confounds, and apparently up to 11% even consider breaking up because of these situations. So beyond finances, mental health issues, infidelity, and evolving societal expectations, especially highlighted in the increasing trend of gray divorces among those over 50, are reshaping marital patterns. So there's a few things happening. We have a financial crisis, kind of bubbling up around here with tariffs and the world kind of in an uncertain state. We have a lot of North America getting into their 50s and graying. So there are some statistics suggesting that 2025 may be a big year of deferred divorces. I guess the question for you is, in your practice, and I know you work with professionals, but also a regular human being, are you getting some of the sense of folks coming in and talking about this, or are you not seeing this just yet?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't say that I'm seeing it yet. I do. What I have noticed is, and this is I think probably a good thing, but what I have noticed is I do feel that there seems to be more couples, and again, might just be one of those perception things, right? Because
Yes.
all of a sudden when you work in it and when you're working with couples, you start to maybe notice more stuff because you're thinking about it, you're paying attention to it, and it's the whole, all of a sudden you buy a Jeep and everyone drives a Jeep all of a sudden, right? You see them all over the road when before you never saw one, right?
Yes.
So it could just be a perception thing, but I have noticed it does seem like a lot more couples are pursuing maybe going to counseling or some type of therapy or whatever to work out. So I've noticed that, which I think is a great thing. Like I feel like we can all use some help.
What about couples that are aging? Because there are some trends of couples in their 50s and so forth, approaching divorce, empty nesters. Like, hey, there's more to my life than just what's happening right now. Are you seeing more of that as well, or not necessarily?
So I haven't seen it. I think that's a really interesting. That's probably a really interesting group, though, right? Because I feel like you probably have I think there's probably a lot of overlaps in that kind of generation or that group, because I feel like they're probably at the very end of maybe that traditional marriage thing where people would get married, and even if they're the most miserable part of their whole life, you just didn't get divorced because you just didn't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
People would just be together even if they weren't happy.
Yes.
And obviously society has changed a lot, and I think the societal views on divorce and marriage and stuff have shifted a lot, right? And I think it's a lot more acceptable now from a society perspective of that. Yeah, people go through divorce and this stuff happens, right? And it's okay. You know what I mean? And I think too, you're also in a mix. So you kind of have some people, I think, in that kind of age range that are maybe right on the edge of that. And now, so for maybe a portion of their life when they first got married, and now they're into their 50s or they're into their 60s or they're into their 70s now. And now all of a sudden society's view of divorce and marriage has really shifted a lot. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, maybe if I'm really not happy, or maybe if I'm miserable, maybe I don't have to stay in this. You also maybe have a collection there of people, and I don't want to stereotype, but probably men, a high percentage of men in that age range too, that would maybe look at going to counseling or therapy and being like, no, still, you know what I mean? Because they're still from a time when that was really stigmatized. And so it's probably a really interesting age group to look at for a number of different reasons,
Well, I think a couple things are happening too, AJ, right? Is that empty nesters are happening, and then, folks my parents are starting to pass, right? So there are some folks that are aging, going, okay, well, I don't want to get divorced because my parents are still alive, so I'm going to wait till mom and dad die before I get divorced, right? So I'm going to make some assumptions here as well that there are some folks that are going through their marriage right now. Their kids have left, but their parents are still alive. They're waiting for the parents to pass so that they don't disappoint the parents about the divorce decision they're about to make. You follow what I'm saying, right? So I get curious when I see these studies and these stats, because I talk to people all the time on the show and online and so forth, and you hear these things, you get curious, right? The world's changing, so I was curious to know if this is happening through your world and so forth. But then interesting.
I did see something really interesting from Esther Perel, who is a very well known psychotherapist. I really respect her a lot. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. You might have seen her. She's phenomenal at what she does, and her specialty, her niche is really in that relationship domain.
Okay.
And I was reading something of hers. I read a ton of her work and watch a ton of her stuff. And she said that, typically there's been big changes in generations, and, typically how the generations coming up now, they'll say, hey, you'll have 4 careers in your lifetime or whatever it is, right? Where people just used to have one. And her thing now is that she said that, I guess you'd probably call it a prediction from her wealth of experience, which I would trust over a lot of other therapists in the field, was the idea that most people in their lifetime now will have 3 marriages. What she called marriages, they might not be technical marriages like walk down the aisle, have a ceremony, government certificate marriage, but that each person now would almost have about 3 marriages from those generations coming up. And again, by marriage, she was just using that as a placeholder for like a meaningful long-term relationship. Maybe you live with that person, maybe you have kids with that person, maybe some of those were actual formal marriages, right? But that the average person soon in this next generation will have 3, so it's just kind of a really interesting perspective. And even more interesting was that and this is the part that I really loved too, which I think everyone could maybe relate to a little bit and really think about a little bit, is she said some of those, like all 3 of those might even be with the same person.
Because you're going through different parts of your life and in your journey.
Exactly. Right. So, and you can almost like be able to kind of see this divide of like almost where, hey, I had, 3 distinct or 2 distinct separate almost relationships with the same person, right? And it's a very interesting perspective, right?
So then let me ask you this, because I'm reading about this. More and more couples are exploring sleep divorce, meaning sleeping in separate bedrooms. Again, is in order to improve quality of sleep, and we know how important sleep is. So it's like, hey, you can sleep over there, I'll sleep over here, we'll get some better sleep, and then we'll come together and be intimate and have sex and so forth. Are you seeing more of that in your conversations with your clients, and is that as much a generational thing?
Right. Yeah. So I haven't seen it as much with my personal clients. I have seen it a lot though within the therapy, counseling space.
Yes.
Even in the performance aspect that I deal with, obviously sleep being the foundational piece to everything, right? And
a lot of professional athletes probably sleep alone. I'll be actually serious here. I'm going to bet.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet, because they're so used to sleeping on their own on the road. Like I bet you a lot of my team, I bet you a lot of the Winnipeg Jets sleep by themselves.
Yeah, they could.
I'm just throwing it out there just because.
Totally. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure. You kind of get used to it. And I think so from the few conversations I can say that I have had with people in my professional space, yes, sometimes there is their biggest concern is they feel like there's been this preconceived notion that if, this is the most important person in your life to you, this is your partner, this is your husband, this is your wife, that you need to sleep in the same bed with them, right? Because if you don't, all of a sudden they think in their mind, the perception is like, oh, it's the love of your life and you don't sleep with them in the same bed, right?
Yes.
But, if we kind of looked at it objectively and been like, hey, we understand how important sleep is to every aspect of our well-being, mental, physical, emotional, right? And if we could drastically improve the quality of our sleep, if it means sleeping in a separate bed or in a separate room, and if we can do that, and then the whole next day we're better, you know what I mean? And then the time that we spend with each other is better. It's of higher quality because we feel better rested mentally, physically, emotionally. We feel like we're in a better space. Then who's to say that that's a bad thing that you slept in separate rooms?
And then we're going to have better sex when we come together. Like it's just incredible how society has taught us so much of the opposite, right? And you got to be honest. I was having this conversation with Johnny a couple days ago, AJ. There's so much influence to not go to sleep. Yet we're encouraged to sleep so much. Yet there's so much saying, no, don't sleep. Don't, it's just, you know what I mean? And there's so much
a great point.
Pushback to not sleep. It's like every single point of our day, we're fighting this. No, watch this on Netflix. No, do this. No, the hockey game starts at 9:00 tonight. Okay, I guess I'm starting the game at 9:00 tonight, right? It's just there's so much pushing against us to get sleep in that when you hear these suggestions, maybe there's truth to it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. That's a great point. There is a ton of influence not to sleep.
There is. Like everywhere you go, it's like, no, you're given every reason not to sleep.
Not to, yeah.
And the funny thing is, AJ, and here's the funny thing, man, before I let you go, all the content that we get distracted by saying, go to sleep.
Yeah. It's keeping you up.
You open up your Instagram reels, your TikTok. Yeah, you should get 8 hours of sleep today. Okay, but I can't put this fucking TikTok down because it's telling me to go to sleep, but I don't want to go to sleep because it's, you know what I mean? It's this confluence of contradiction. It's a constant contradiction, right? Adam Holroyd's coming in with, I believe that sleep is important more so far. High performance athletes. I'm with you. And then Matthew Roof, AJ, last comment is sleep divorce equals better marriage. And Roof is starting it out. We've started experimenting with it and it's going great. No more snores, kicking, and night sweats. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Matthew. And you know what, and I'll tell you this too. I'm grateful Matthew shares that because I think a lot of couples, there's still a taboo perhaps around sharing that.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So, do you guys have problems? You sleep in separate rooms? No, I just like to have my sleep.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Low judgment in that statement. So,
Right.
Awesome. Eglin, thanks for hanging out, brother. I got you a lot longer than I expected here today. I really want to talk mental performance with the hockey, and I knew I could stretch it out of you. So that was awesome, man. You got a busy one today? You got a busy one today?
Yeah. Pretty busy one today, but yeah, it's good, man. It's all stuff that I love doing. So,
you know, what I love about that statement too is that you strike me as somebody that even, you know, when life is doing this and this for you, you yourself too are so rooted in your routines and your non-negotiables that, and I know you well, you're such an even keel human. It's because I think you have the foundation so that when life does go like this for you, you're just do.
Yeah,
skill, man. It's a skill. Good for you.
Yeah, you need stuff that anchors you, man.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do. Do. All right, well, listen, me and Jimmy are going to do the creative spotlight, and then I got a guest joining me here for the closing segments of the show, Mr. Axel Santana. You have an awesome day, brother. Go Jets, go. I'm looking forward to fuck Toronto won last night, eh?
Yeah, it's a long series.
Yes, it is. To all my friends in Toronto, I love you. Yes, no, really, no. All right, Eglin, you have yourself a great day, brother. Always appreciate you, okay?
Thank you. You too.
All right, take care. All right, Jimmy, we're going to get AJ out of here. And Jimmy, let's do the creative spotlight before we bring Axel Santana in here. We'll do, we're going to get to the community corner here. We're going to change up the agenda a little bit here this morning, you guys. And we're going to jump into the Substack side of things first of all and celebrate somebody. Before we do that, Jimmy, before we do that, you guys ever wonder why some entrepreneurs seem to effortlessly succeed while others struggle? Well, today, I got some things for you guys. Uncovering the surprising power behind success of entrepreneurs. And they're not grand gestures. Jimmy, I'm on a morning focus here segment for us there, Jimmy. I know you don't have a banner for that, but just telling you where I'm at. Today, we're going to uncover some the surprising power behind the success of entrepreneurs and not grand gestures. And I wanted to have this conversation with you guys today to offer something up around the idea of tiny details, around the tiny habits that anyone can master. And myself and John are working towards a segment here around, habit stack hacks and mastering small routines that can dramatically shift productivity, build resilience, and create unstoppable momentum. You heard me and AJ talking about the Winnipeg Jets winning in 1 seconds left. And, that doesn't come out of some magnanimous moment. It comes out of these small, relentless habits that, build along the way, building resilience and creating momentum that when the time is right, it happens. And I did a little bit of research from killer startups, and then it highlights that successful entrepreneurs consistently practice micro actions like daily reading, structured learning, and regular movement rituals. Now, these seemingly insignificant habits compound, laying a robust foundation for lasting achievement. Basically lined up in habit stacking, linking new behaviors to existing routines, which turns your discipline into autopilot. Now, I pride this show to always give you guys something which is either entertainment or information, something you can leave the conversation with. And there's something that I really want to turn this conversation into is just this whole idea of linking new behaviors to an existing routine, right? Encouraging you to consider this idea of starting with habit stacking. We're all about mornings. We believe that owning the mornings is how you own your day, right? Perhaps some of the things you might want to consider is, during or after your morning coffee, is taking 1 minute to review your daily goals, perhaps 1 minute of gratitude, perhaps 1 minute of sending messages to your friends. So what are you doing? You're linking your coffee with an action every single day, right? And perhaps, one of the things you might want to consider is, after you're done brushing your teeth in the evening, is touching your toes for 2 minutes. Again, it always sounds cliche and simple, but again, the purpose of this show is to create awareness, is to create movement through momentum. And I believe that creating movement through momentum comes from words, comes from giving you guys things to think about. Maybe when you let your dog out, you quickly open up your phone, or there's a book over there, and you read a page of it. Now, I know we typically, I'm going to sit down and read a chapter of my book. Well, maybe if we read a single page every day, that chapter of the book gets done in a week. Again, the point being is this idea of taking an existing habit and stacking a new one. Once you sit at your desk, you might want to write 3 sentences about your business goals, right? So sit down, write something down, right? Instead of perhaps sit down and scroll on your phone, right? Before bed, maybe you want to jot down one thing that you're grateful for, or you link it to dinner. When dinner's over, you're asking a grateful question, right? So which small habit, I ask you, nation, which small habit could you add today that if repeated daily could and probably would transform your life? We talk daily about not snoozing. We know that if we snooze every single day for a year, we're 2.5 days behind the person that doesn't. Think about that for a moment. Think about how many additional steps you can get in your day, and not physical steps, but accomplishments, habits that you can complete within 9 minutes. Hell, cut half of that. Hell, maybe you snooze for 4.5 minutes. I don't appreciate it. I don't suggest it. I don't recommend it. But just think, you snooze for 4.5 minutes. You can touch your toes for 4 minutes. You can go for a walk for 4 minutes. These little minutes add up. So I would invite you guys to share your chosen habit in the comments. I really would love to hear you guys and what you're thinking about for habit stack hacks. Remember, greatness is not achieved overnight. It's not. It's crafted daily, right? It's showing up daily, creating non-negotiables. And as you heard AJ, and we heard our guest John Espotito, when life goes sideways, these daily habits, these daily non-negotiables is what keeps us on the straight and narrow. It helps us achieve those goals when life is dark. It helps us get to the next milestone in our journey when things aren't working, right? So you have the power, guys, to start right now. Let's talk about it. I'd love to hear what your habit stacks are. We're going to introduce this segment, habit stack hacks, coming up next week with myself and Johnny. Every single day or once a week, we're going to give you guys some habitual stacks to consider to help making progress and moving life forward. Okay, so Jimmy, there we go. I had to get that segment in before I went to the Creator Spotlight. So we're going to start with Substack before we bring in Axel Santana here in a few moments, Jimmy. We're going to start with Substack. Yes, we are, guys. We're hanging out on the Substack platform, inside.bappel.ai, the behind the scenes about how we're building this thing. If you're an aspiring creator, if you want to have a conversation with your community, if you're intrigued about setting the conversation instead of being part of the conversation, I'd invite you to subscribe to our channel. All the information you need is there. Here's the thing. 1 minute you're laughing at a fart joke. Jimmy, you ever thought about that? 1 minute you're laughing at a fart joke. The next, you're deep in a culture autopsy of modern identity. Now, this is culture commentary at its most unhinged and honest. No recycled Twitter takes, no clickbait, no corporate polish, just one creator who we're celebrating here in a few moments, turning online chaos into something that you want to actually read. The person I'm talking about, this person is Kyle Raymond Fitzpatrick. Yeah, he's a journalist, he's a copywriter, he's a culture critic, and a newsletter mad scientist. Kyle's built a universe where everything is fair game. Pop stars, AI claps, scam culture, bowel cancer, trends. If it's weird, real, or blowing up online, yeah, he's on it. And this isn't just lazy aggregation. His writing is research meets stand-up meets cultural theory. And I got to tell you, it's pretty fucking awesome content. You're going to laugh. You're going to cringe. And you're going to leave smarter every time you read it. Every time. Trust me. He runs the Trend Report, a Substack with trend breakdowns for brands and humans who actually care about staying relevant. You want to stay relevant? You might want to check out the Trend Report. Real influence isn't sterile. It's alive, it's risky, and it's unapologetically human. And listen, we're excited to spotlight him here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I invite you, follow Kyle, read the Trend Report. And Kyle, here's how it works, my brother. I'd love to have you on the show, man. I'd love to meet you, learn from you, but most importantly, hand you the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight, Community Corner Light, so you can shine it on somebody in your universe, and we can continue to pay this segment forward. on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. The only morning show for men to get your ass out of bed and help achieve those big ass goals. Axel, I see you there in the community corner, brother. I see you there in the green room. We're gonna bring you in a quick second. All right, Jimmy, let's go to our LinkedIn creator spotlight. I'm gonna pull this next one up here too, guys. And this guy here, we're interacting with over on LinkedIn. We're gonna surprise him here today. I love doing the surprise. He talks about God, he talks about grit, and he talks about glutes. Yeah, like deep cheeks. All in the same week. AJ, you got to meet this guy, man. This guy's talking glutes, deep cheeks, all in the same week. One post he makes you want to hit the gym. The next post he makes you want to be a better husband. Then he drops a fatherhood line that hits you in the gut. Now, this isn't content, it's conviction. He's not here to chase trends. He's here to live aligned faith, family, fitness, and business. Yeah, the kind of creator who isn't trying to impress you. He's trying to stay accountable to himself, to his family, to his calling. You're not going to find clickbait. I'll tell you, you're not going to find clickbait. You're going to find commitment. You won't see polish. What you'll see is process, is progress. And only then, after all of that, do you realize who's behind it. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends wants to introduce you to Warren DeVerness. Yeah, he's building Dad Good, not just a brand, but a brotherhood for men who want to show up with more strength, more presence, and more purpose. And we're excited to spotlight Warren here on the lab. I invite you guys to follow him, learn from him, and go and connect with Warren over on LinkedIn and watch what happens when a man refuses to compartmentalize who he is. Warren, we want to celebrate you, brother. Here's how it works. Love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you here in the lab with me. We'd love to give you the creator spotlight so you can spotlight somebody in your community on the community corner every day, 9:30 Eastern time, right here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jimmy. Without further ado, hang tight. We're going to bring in just going to get my notes ready, Jim. Good show here today. Even a good show without John and Marty here today. Yeah, maybe we're going to do more of these shows without John and Marty. Sorry to all my people that love John and Marty. I love John and Marty too, but John and Marty, maybe I don't need you guys. Maybe I'll just do the show without you. All right. So, what if posting less content? Before we back it up, hey, Jimmy, you recall this conversation we had about 2 weeks ago? Was it last week? It was last week when we did this show on Things Aren't Working, and then we had this guest on that show. It was all about, I think, shit going sideways. And then shit did go sideways on that show. And the guest was on the show, and they're like, this wasn't working. Well, he's decided to join us again, which I am. Yeah, Jimmy, the failure topic. Yes, that was the failure topic show. That was the one that was on. Now he's on the show, which is all about success and getting after it and breathing. But what if posting less content could book you more high-ticket clients? Well, today's guest doesn't just preach minimalism. The guy built an entire agency around it. Let's meet the man who turns health coaches into YouTube power client magnets. Nation, take a moment with me to introduce and welcome to the lab back again, Mr. Axel Santana. What's going on, Axel?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Hey, I got you.
Can you hear me now?
I got you here today, finally. And it's working on my end. It was working on your end last time, but it wasn't working on my end here today.
Yeah, well, we're here now, so let's do it.
That's awesome. So Axel isn't interested in viral TikTok dances or chasing trends. Instead, he engineers powerful, lean content systems that quietly dominate search results and effortlessly attract high-ticket clients. I invite you to stay tuned to me as we explore a conversation with Axel around YouTube mastery, minimalism and marketing, and why posting and praying might be your worst enemy. And secret, I'm going to be picking Axel's brain on helping me grow my business here on all the YouTube stuff I'm doing. So anything Axel wants to give me, I'm going to get. I'm going to be selfish and get everything I can from him today. But I'm really pleased to have Axel on the show here today. Axel, first of all, where are you joining me today, brother?
Yeah, Keith, thank you for having me. I'm all the way in Mexico, brother.
Right in Mexico City, eh?
No, Mexico City, no. It's a little town in the north part of Mexico. It's near US, actually.
Nice. Okay, awesome.
It's like 3 hours away.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell me and my audience a little bit about Sturdy Agency. What is Sturdy Agency? How did it come to life? And what kind of customers do you serve?
Okay, so Sturdy Agency started as my first entrepreneur journey, actually.
Yeah.
It started back when I was in college. So I remember that I was in a finance major, but I decided like, no, I don't like finance. Like, this is not for me. I don't like it. I like video production. It started like that. I like video production, and it's fun that you were talking about habit stacking, and
Yes.
by the time I was in college, I started going to the gym, started reading, started meditating every day, started waking up early. So it seems like that drive into my curiosity into psychology, like reading about great psychologists like Jordan B. Peterson, from Nietzsche. I started going into philosophy, and I decided that I like psychology and I like business. So what's the business psychology? That's the side of business that works with psychology. It is marketing, right? So
Yeah.
I started doing an internship in marketing, in sales and marketing. And when I was right there, I was like, I saw the CEO doing their stuff. She was all around, but I was like, I can do this stuff. Like she has like a 3-person team she was doing, and I was like, I can do this stuff. And it's funny. It was one day that my friends invited me to go to LA. Okay, so I was like, I can go. I have the money. I want to go. We have everything. And I asked my boss if I was able to go to LA with my friends. He told me like, no, there's no way. We got an important day tomorrow. We got a meeting. And okay, it was a bummer, but well, it was work. So I went the next day, and we didn't do shit at all. We didn't do shit at all, and I was like, okay, I cannot be employed. Honestly, like I cannot be employed. So I started watching videos from Iman Gatsi. I thought, you know it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started watching their videos, how his agency model was killing it, and I decided to jump into one of his courses. And here I am. This is my second year as a full-time entrepreneur. And yeah, I started with different niches, real estate, fitness coaches, and then I realized that I want to have online health coaches because I'm crazy about health. Okay, I'm a psycho about health. I have my Whoop here, I have my Apple Watch right here. And so I know that if I help online health coaches get new clients, I'm helping more people to get into health. Okay.
Yes.
And that was my catalyst. Okay, the gym was my catalyst. I started going to a gym. I started reading. I start meditating. So I think like the gym or getting healthy, taking care of yourself is like a gateway drug, okay, to self-development and achieving your goals. So that's a mission of Sturdy. Okay, so the mission is that if we help you get more clients, we're helping. Maybe we're not changing the world, but by changing someone, we're changing his world. Okay, if you get more clients, we're changing his world. So that's what I'm doing. I started with an ad agency, a funnel agency, but I started slowly dying. Are getting harder, are getting expensive, are getting harder to convert those cold outreach because with this coaching business, you might consider an info product. Okay, so info product is out most of the time is high ticket. Most of the time, coaching program is high ticket. So running collabs is not what's working, but you know what's working? Being watching content from someone on YouTube. Okay, and with the right strategy, you can funnel them. You can convert YouTube into your own ad network. And then you can, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm making an assumption here because of what you said to me, but a question that I was considering asking you was, how did you discover that systems, not content, was the real key to client attraction? And I think I'm going to answer my own question by you discovering as an entrepreneur that your daily non-negotiable systems was the key to your success. So then I'm going to make an assumption, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, that once you discovered that, it was like, yes, this is also the key to clients, because I need to teach clients systems, not just content, because when you put systems in place, you put structure in place, and out of that, you can create content, you can create engagement, you can create conversation. But without the systems, nothing else works. Am I correct with that assumption, that when you discovered that the systems for yourself was the key to your clients? Does that make sense, Axel?
It makes sense. It really, didn't come up that way, honestly. Like the whole philosophy around my agency is based on everything I've learned. Minimalist, being direct, having a culture, because it's very important to have culture, right?
Yes.
If you want someone to keep someone working with you, you gotta have culture. They believe in the same mission. So it's something that I read. I have read, like putting you in a position that is us versus them, okay, or it's
Yes.
us against the conflict, okay. So it's more like everything in the back end philosophy of the strategy has been built on the non-negotiable habit system I have done for myself. Honestly,
Yes.
the YouTube stuff came more of who say I think about it. Okay, so I went to this event like 2 months ago that talked about YouTube, how is the new wave, how is the second largest search engine in the world, and I'm thinking about all the high ticket offers I have buy during the years. So all of them came from watching a guy's YouTube. Like this is how they build trust in me. How because you don't want to feel like they found you and sell you something, right? You want to feel like you found something, right? You want to feel like you found something, you found the solution, like nobody knows about it, you found it, this guy's fitting you, you're trusting this guy, you started to like him a lot, and that's where you decide like, hey, maybe I like this guy, maybe I'll see what his stuff is, what's his coaching program, because he's solving a lot of my problems for free. Maybe his paid program will give me more value. Make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Axel, in your experience, what's the biggest misconception that health coaches have about building authority online?
Okay, so one misconception, of course, that I see a lot of LinkedIn because I'm more in the LinkedIn space rather than Instagram.
Yeah.
And will be that they're posting content and think that's gonna attract high ticket clients, and that's not it, because honestly, most people in LinkedIn health coaches are targeting busy people. And I don't think you're gonna convince busy people by a LinkedIn post, right? Like founders, CEOs, they're not gonna be converted for a post. And another issue I see with that Instagram crowd, they're flash. Okay, they're flash, they're showing they're focusing on going viral. Okay, they're focused on going viral, and you don't want to do that. You want to have like a micro niche personal brand. So this way, you're gonna be attacking the right people with the right content. Okay, it's better to have 1,000 views and close 5 clients out of them than having 10K and no clients at all. Okay, or having 50K and no clients at all. Okay, and the other issue right there in Instagram back is that short form doesn't sell high ticket.
Yes.
Short form doesn't sell high ticket at all.
Oh, interesting. So then maybe that answers my next question, which was, what's the most common content mistake your high coaching clients make? Is it this idea of putting out short form content and trying to convince somebody to give them a lot of money? Doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't work. Short form is king for selling low ticket, for sure. We're still selling low ticket is king, but if you really wanna sell high ticket, like people who are not in Instagram, they're in time killing mode, consumer mode.
Yeah.
But when you're okay, go ahead.
Axel, so let's keep going here because you're in the marketing business. Why do you think that solopreneur creators are suddenly more trusted than bigger brands or teams? So in you're working with clients, individuals, health coaches, and so forth. With what you're seeing online, why do you think that, independent creators are becoming more trusted than the bigger brands?
Personal brand, brother.
Yeah.
Personal brand. People are starting to trust the person behind the brand rather than the brand itself. Okay, you see Tesla, you see Elon Musk. Okay, you see Iman Gatsi, everything he's doing is all thanks for your personal brand.
Yes. And I think that relates to something that you and I have been talking about offline here. I said last week that I haven't had alcohol in 8+ years, and you had commented on me that you made a similar decision a number of years back. And let's relate that to personal brand, because that decision attaches to my brand, to your brand. Talk about that decision for you, about saying, you know what, I'm going to choose a lifestyle of no alcohol and choosing a lifestyle of high performance living. Talk about that a little bit, Axel.
Okay, so actually today is my second anniversary, my second sober anniversary.
Good for you, brother.
Thank you, man. It's beautiful, honestly. Like I decided that actually in the same summer I decided to open my agency. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was starting going to the gym, reading, and hangovers didn't help at all. Hangovers didn't help at all. I was not getting an ROI out of alcohol. I remember that.
Yes.
I don't even like it. When I started drinking, it didn't even like it, but I didn't know there was an option to not drink when I was, because I'm 24 right now.
Okay.
So that time I was 22. I didn't know like not drinking was an option. As I started educating myself, seeing a lot of videos in YouTube of great people that doesn't drink, Brad Pitt, Bradley Cooper, who else? I don't recall as many names, but there was a lot of guys that you see that are famous, successful, and most of them don't drink. And I remember that I was one time going. Oh, I partied one night, and the next day I had a cold plunge like at 9 a.m. Let's say, and before that I went to a gym. So I went to a gym hangover, and then I went to the cold plunge event, and there was one guy right there that was like 33 years old, and he looked young as fuck, and I was like, this guy looks young as fuck. I can't believe he's like 33. He looks 27, honestly, and he was like a great guy, like super friendly, super charismatic. And then I hear that he was on his 9 years sober, and I was like, my God, like you can be that cool and don't drink. That's fucked up, man. If you think about it, like that perception of thinking like there you can be cool without drinking, like. You know, that's how ingrained alcohol is in this society, man. Like,
I know, because believe me, I didn't get that memo for a long time. I thought you had to drink to be cool. So, so the fact that you recognize that at a ripe age of 22, 23, 24, you're like, okay, I can be cool without having alcohol in my life. Like, look at how that decision has been such a foundation for you.
It's beautiful, man. Like, I don't think there's a going back to alcohol.
Yeah. Awesome. You're hanging out with Keith Billis. Adam, you're right, man. We could do Afternoons in the Lab with Just Keith. Hey, there it is with Just Keith, Adam. There's the show brought to you by Adam, my associate producer, Adam Holroyd, who works for the Railway, who's very grateful and kind of hang out with us every day here. He's just creating our next show. Afternoons in the Lab with quote unquote Just Keith. Jimmy, you're not invited. Melissa's not invited. It's Just Keith. That's what Adam says. So it's Just Keith just trying to figure shit out. Hey, you're hanging out with myself and Axel Santana working up towards the yes, Jimmy. Trying to spit these words out of my mouth as we're wrapping up our segment with Axel coming up to the top of the hour here, hour 2. Axel, I got some rapid fire questions for you, brother. Let's get after them. Morning routine essential that you can't skip.
Okay, so non-negotiable for me, going out for the sun, having my supplements, electrolytes, omega-3, L-theanine, and lion's mane. Then I get into my red light, have it right here, red light therapy device, and I go into a deep meditation. I'm right now doing an NLP hypnosis. Actually, I have some guy that's doing me hypnosis. And pretty much that's it. That's the 3 non-negotiables.
That's awesome. What's one biohacking practice that's changed your life?
Sauna, brother. I don't know if you consider biohacking, but sauna. Yeah.
Really? That's fast. Yeah. Oh, really interesting. Least favorite social media trend right now?
Social media. I don't spend a lot of time on social media, honestly, but let me think about it. I don't know. Probably people posting their morning routines.
Okay.
That's very that's super big.
Those morning routines are content for conversation for me. So people don't stop posting your morning routines. No.
Yeah, no, of course, guys. Just try to keep it more real. Like,
yeah.
Waking up, feel like that. Like,
yes.
Put the camera there.
As a healthy, focused individual, I gotta ask you, what is your favorite guilty pleasure snack?
Probably ice cream.
Oh, there you go. It's funny because people have been bringing that answer out. It's like this discreet. I wonder if ice cream might be one of the most hidden guilty pleasures that people don't like to talk about or admit to, because it comes up often. I got to tell you, man, people love their ice cream, which is, I guess, Jimmy, maybe there's something to know there. People love their ice cream and so forth, which that makes me laugh. All right, my last final closing question for you, brother. If you had to delete all but one social platform, which one stays? Is it YouTube?
Okay, so YouTube is a social media platform.
Would you say that it is or isn't?
I think it's more like a search engine.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Or a discovery engine or entertainment, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't consider a social media platform, honestly. But if you consider YouTube, I'll keep YouTube. If we don't consider YouTube, I'll keep X all the way.
Well, there you go. Interesting. Oh, yeah, interesting. You'd keep X, eh? Yeah, you like X?
Yeah, for sure. That's, I think, where smart people is hanging out. Honestly, like ego-driven people is on Instagram, or business-driven, of course.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be the way, but I feel X has more substance behind the content. I see a lot of Instagram going into the direction that every reel is marketing now. So every reel.
Hard to argue that. And I got to think, as a health coach, as somebody who serves the health coach industry and fitness coach industry, like Instagram is just crap, isn't it?
It is, honestly.
It's just one person promoting their next person to promote. It's just turned into a big marketplace of advertisements, right?
Yeah, and it's because the same way ads are getting expensive is because Meta is showing more ads. Because I was in the medium buying space for a while, for the last year. Mm-hmm. And well, at the end of the day, in these social media platforms, you are the product.
Yes.
You're the product, and Meta is starting to show more ads each day. It's starting to show more ads because that's where they're getting their money from, right? It makes sense for them, I understand. So you see a lot of ads, and people are trusting less ads, So then when you go reels, you start to understand that most of them are to promote something and to not make the story longer than it is. Since I'm in the health coach space, like Instagram doesn't work with me with the high ticket space, so probably I'm a little biased about it. But
yeah.
And I hate seeing what other people is doing. Honestly.
Yes. I will be honest. I know that this probably is an unpopular opinion, but part of me is starting to think that X is better now than it was when it was Twitter. Let me explain. I'm a fan of freedom of speech. I'm a big believer in, even though I ran a moderation company, I am a huge fan of freedom of speech. I believe we should be able to say what we want to say because I believe in discourse. I believe in a conversation. So I have noticed on the X platform, you're seeing more of that. More smart people posting their content and whether it's moderated or not, to me, that's not the point. It's about having discourse around ideas. And X to me is emerging as a wonderful place for ideas. And you don't have to like them. It's called an idea for a reason. It's an idea. Ideas offer opinion. Ideas create conversation. But that's what I'm really enjoying about X is that you're seeing, and I don't care about the hate and the trolling and all the bullshit because that's everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. You can find it anywhere. I purely want to focus on what I'm seeing on the X side of things, which is this. There's smart people there. There's discourse. There's conversation happening. Yeah, there's trolls. But if you can see past the crap, there's some good discourse and good discovery happening on that platform. No question about it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've been posting in X for a while. I'm not having a good amount of success in there, but like I have some friends that use that for the meme coins trading. I have some friends. I see a lot of creators posting their YouTube videos right there. You have that real feature more. You can engage with people. So I don't know if that's correct, but I heard that Elon wants to make that everything up, and I think he's really doing it.
Yes, it's on its way. There's no question about that. No question about that. All right, well, listen, pal. I think we're gonna wrap it. It's time to wrap the show up. You want to? What do you got? What do you got on the? What do you have on the agenda on Axel Santana's agenda today? What's one thing you're getting done today, brother? After wrapping up with me today on the show.
Okay, so I'm this whole YouTube thing is a whole new concept. So right now I'm launching my test pilot offer. So I'm gonna work on that website, the PSL around it and everything, and start promoting that aggressively. So that's one thing I'm gonna accomplish. And the other thing is that I'm a huge soccer fan, and I'm gonna have FC Barcelona semifinals right at noon. So I'm going to watch that at the cinema. So it's gonna be
Nice. Axel, where can my community, where can my audience connect with you and find Axel Santana? What's the best way to interact with you?
So if you want to see more about fun stuff and lifestyle, go ahead to my Instagram, AxelQG. If you want to go and learn more about my business, potentially you're a health coach and watching this, and you can go to my LinkedIn. So it's Axel Santana, and on X, AxelQG. So those are the three platforms that I use.
Awesome. Axel, it's taken us a couple tries, but we made it work. And I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that you and I had a chance to connect today and have a conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. You dropped some nuggets out there. I'm looking forward to engaging with your content in the feeds and seeing you on the platforms and staying in touch. And Nation, I invite you to go find Axel on LinkedIn, go find him on X, find the Sturdy Agency. I suspect we're going to be having Axel around a little more often. The guy's not going anywhere, and we'll keep connecting. How's that sound, brother? You good?
That sounds amazing. Yeah, no, thank you for having me, kid. I love it. I love the chat.
Awesome. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, Axel, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, subscribe to it, like it, tell your friends about the greatest morning show in the world, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, and we'll see you again sometime. Okay, pal?
All right. Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, we're going to walk Axel out of here, and I'm going to work towards wrapping it up. Boom, boom. Wow. Jimmy, fuck, man. Sometimes I got to tell you, man, these hours just kind of go tick, 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 done. Tick, 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 done. Just like that. What's up, Isabel? Good to see you. Good to see you in the comments there. Hey, Isabel, is that I wondered, is that a connection to Axel? I'm wondering if that's I wonder if that's a connection to Axel there on the I'm seeing her name there. All right, Jimmy, we're gonna wrap up here, my friend. Let me see. Let's do a quick little recap of the show here today. What did we say? We started out with some videos on would you. We learned from Keith and Johnny today that heights might be something we are fearful of. And especially as you get older, watch the ladders, right, John Anderson? Height gets ahead of you. Yep, that's exactly it. We talked about that. We talked about the accountability. We talked about big goals and the accountability check-in. Richard Crawford joined us asking the question, which is, can luxury travel actually save the planet? Richard Crawford, Amazon Prime, big TV show, The Truth Behind Ecotourism. I would invite you to check out the conversation we had with Richard. Richard has done some really great stuff on the travel side of things. We've met with Richard here today. You know, guys, I was going to talk about breath work. I did not get to that. We'll get to that here in a coming episode. Mindful, myself and AJ, we talked about the upcoming divorce crisis. And we also talked about mental performance, relating it very much to our lovely local Winnipeg Jets winning round one of the series, went to round two, and what it took for the mental resilience to get through that, to help them hit that championship. First round, not championship, the first round series win. We talked habit stacking, guys. We talked the secrets of top entrepreneurs. It's just habit stacking. You know, Axel talked about it on this morning. You know, these little micro routines. Axel talked about how he discovered his agency through the discovery of these non-negotiable routines, right? And just doing little things nonstop. Next thing you know is, next thing you know, to him, that was the most important part of success. Not so much about content, putting these steps together. Right. And AJ and I talked about that as well this morning when it came to, the mental performance of an athlete and how having non-negotiables, having a routine in place helps you out when times are good, helps you out when times are bad. That was part of our conversation as well. And then, of course, we had Axel Santana here hanging out with us, talking about YouTube, talking about health coaches and talking about the stuff that he's working on in his world. And I invite you guys to check out Sturdy Agency. Go connect with Axel Santana on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, and so forth. We were going to have a business and branding segment today, but we bumped that one to next one. No, Jimmy, Nicole's segment is not yet ready. Nicole missed the memo. Joking aside there, Nicole. We just had a little scheduling conflict here, so we're going to start that one next Tuesday. Business and branding. Nicole Bernard is going to join me back in the lab, and we're going to talk about the business of branding, the branding of business, and bring it all together for informative, entertaining conversation for you guys that happens every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So, on behalf of producer Jimmy, producer Melissa, Melissa, should I crack the joke about the I don't know, the red dots, the chicken pox, the measles, the whatever the hell. I'm joking. I'm just joking, or maybe I'm not. I don't know. All right, big day ahead in the lab. Looking forward to hanging out with Richard Crawford today. Looking forward to preparing for tomorrow's show. We got tomorrow's show. Nick Sclafani is bringing the bud. Yeah, the cannabis dude. I struggle with anxiety. Here's how I found relief. And no, we're not relating anxiety to cannabis, although there is links to that helping both of them, but there's also links to the opposite side of it as well. So we got Nick Sclafani joining us on the show tomorrow. Excited to have him in the lab here. We're going to talk the cannabis industry. The guy's been growing cannabis for 20 years, over 2 decades. Yeah, he wakes up, just grows weed. What do you do for a living? I grow weed. Yeah, legally too. So that's tomorrow. I invite you guys, join the show. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, John Anderson, C. Marty Fitz, producer Jimmy, producer Melissa, the whole crew. 8 o'clock right here. Thanks, Axel. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys later. Let's get out of here, Jimmy. I got to go to the bathroom. Yeah, it's been a couple hours.